We are ready to go with the next run. So we have, my brain literally just processed 3 W's. Like, it's just casual wins all around. But these wins are the wonderful Waffle Soup, the wonderful Winfei Maiden, and the wonderful commentator Wef Jepster, who are doing a fantastic time spinner race. So, y'all W's, take it away.
Yeah, hello and welcome to Timespinner Glitches Required Randomizer True Ending. I'll get into what that means in a bit once our runners have already started, but this is going to be super fun. Both of these runners very, very skilled at executing some of these kind of zanier glitches that help the traversal through the overworld, and it's going to be really fun to watch and really fun to commentate. So I can't wait to watch along with the rest of you and provide some context as to what kind of wild stuff is happening. Our racers are readied up, so I'm just going to go ahead and drop the gate. And I'm going to talk a bit about what glitches required means. Now, a lot of you are probably familiar with the concept of glitches allowed. Well, what this is glitches required. If you are familiar with archipelago.gg, it is a website that allows you to do multi-worlds, which puts different games items in different worlds. Now, what they have done is created a multi-world where they have required items that are in a world that is never going to be played. So they are never going to get those items, and so they are going to have to glitch their way through some things in order to make their way to some of the required locations. So I'll be trying to give some context as to what those glitches are that they're doing. But for now, we are seeing a start with Radiant Orb and Storm Eye. So, and then right away a Time-Worn Warp Beacon. So our runners are starting in the present. That Time-Worn Warp Beacon allows them to go to the past. It looks like Winfei checking the past location as Caves of Banishment, deciding to stick around in the present for now. So one of the key items that our runners are looking for is the Succubus Hairpin, which allows them to double jump. Double jump is good because we are playing a Metroidvania, you see. And it's also good because it's pretty key to a lot of, well, there it is. The Succubus Hairpin right there. Easy. Is required to be in an early location, so it makes sense. But you're probably going to see a glitch coming up shortly that will show you why double jump is so important. It allows them to basically glitch through doors. And while we are kind of in the early game here, what we're going to do is discuss one of the key parts of most of the glitches in this game. What the glitches deal with is crouch state. So our hero Lunaeus has a standing state and a crouch state. Well, with a specific set of inputs, the crouch state can be locked in. So Lunaeus has essentially got the hitbox of a crouched Lunaeus instead of a fully standing Lunaeus. And we already see some divergence here. Both our Winfei is going into the past, getting that plasma crystal. You can see Winfei is suffocating, and you will also see that both of our runners found their gas mask, which would stop them from suffocating, except it was the other game's gas mask. So they don't get to use it. They found the game that will never be played's gas mask. So yeah, because the double jump is so important for this, they have forced that double jump into the first few chests, which is basically required because it's going to open up a lot of their traversal. Winfei's already in a bit of trouble. Using her one healing item, she is poisoned. Poisoned is pretty brutal in this game. It's percentage based and always does the same percentage amount of damage over time, regardless of what your max HP is. And you're also probably wondering, man, these enemies are a little out of place. Well, the reason they look so out of place is because one of the incentives for this run, which was enemy rando, was met. So a lot of the muscle memory and traversal is basically out the window for these runners, as they're going to have to adjust to whatever enemies are thrown in front of them. And here we go. We're going to see our first. Yep, there it is. Waffle Soup just jumping right over those vines and sneaking right past, thanks to getting into the crouch state, getting the upper half of Lunaeus's body into the ceiling, and then doing a double jump so uh, Lunaeus can get into the walls. And Waffle Soup's already doing a different crouch state glitch jump here, trying to phase out of bounds and sink all the way down behind that hidden wall. One of the items, and that was really well done, one of the items that our runners is never going to get is the Oculus Ring, and that plays into a flag called I Spy, which means you cannot break hidden walls until the Oculus Ring is found. Just leads into the glitches required theme. You're going to see our runners walking past and abandoning a lot of those items that look like 4 orbs kind of stacked up. The reason is that those are the archipelago items, which means those items are guaranteed to be for the other game that is not going to get played. All right, and Waffle Soup. She is going ahead and saves coming out of that. Didn't get anything important in any of those checks. And so going into our first boss, the bosses are also randomized, although they are scaled. So this late game boss has the stats of a very early game boss. It's also important to note that they picked up Storm Eye as their first spell from their moms. And so they have one of the weaknesses of this boss in their inventory as Winfei goes ahead and jumps over those petrified vines. So what we're seeing is this boss is going to have, like, I think it's 350 or so HP. Now it's still very, very tricky because a lot of the movement tech that you have for that boss is not present for you. They basically just have double jump. So divergence that we've seen so far, Winfei dipped into the past. I think she kind of realized what a terrible idea it was. A little underleveled for the area, getting poisoned. A lot of the issues that you run into because of enemy rando. If those enemies weren't randomized, they could easily traverse those areas. But enemy rando does create situations where there's maybe a little bit of unavoidable damage.
So, like you mentioned, the bosses have stats based on the boss locations. Does that not hold true for the enemies as well, based on whether they've been randomized, or they just retain like end game enemies in early areas still have like end game stats?
Oh no, the enemies, the regular enemies are also scaled. The issue
Oh,
is
nice.
their positioning, really, and their movement. You saw when Winfei was going through those caves, there was just a vine that went ceiling to floor. That vine is supposed to be hanging from a much taller ceiling, so you can just like go under it, and the hurt box of that enemy is under the floor at that point.
Ah,
And
gotcha.
the other part of that is a lot of those enemies that poison you aren't supposed to be there. Poison is very rough in this game. All right. Waffle Soup going to the library, hopping over that D key card door because keys are merely suggestions when you have double jump. That's like a life rule, not just a video game rule. Um, and it looks like we've got Winfei heading into. I know you can't really see on stream right now, but Winfei is following Waffle Soup into that library. Looking for anything good in the library because Winfei's go. Ooh, lab glasses is actually pretty good. That's going to help our runners out a lot. They are, because of a donation incentive, capped out at level 10. And so once they get to level 10, their stats are just going to stop scaling and they're going to have to get a lot of their important DPS from their equipment, and lab glasses definitely are going to help there in the early game. I can confirm that WinFei is still running
Mhm.
as we work on getting that restream back up.
And
We're
big
going to
shout out
check.
to Check, or
Yeah,
big shout out to Tech for that. They are
shout
working
out.
behind the scenes to get it.
Shout outs. We see Waffle Soup go into the store. Nothing really exciting in the store. She did see lab glasses there, which is kind of funny. She got them for free just then, so we are probably going to see a dip into the past here. Yeah, so Waffle Soup's probably going to go just do the same stuff that we saw Winfei do earlier. Now, interestingly enough, they do have a backwards maw caves where they can do this dungeon. Now, they are entering this dungeon because of the random warps. They are entering this dungeon at the end of the dungeon. Uh, because they have double jump, doing this dungeon backwards is on the table. It's not very great. There are a lot of having to climb upwards um, moments in this dungeon, and you see that, you know, when you have random enemies, just stuff that you are not counting on is really rough here. We see some of these enemies. We have a captain's cap, which Waffle Soup is going to immediately equip. One of the better, one of the better bits of headgear in the game. And we're gonna see Waffle Soup taking advantage of crouch state to kind of glitch out of bounds here down and get that bee trap. Now, bees can't survive underwater. Everybody knows this. So that bee trap would have spawned a whole bunch of bees, but they died immediately. So I am communicating with our runners here in the background to try and get Winfei back up. Um,
Yeah, I think we might pause it just briefly to make sure we have the tech all set up, because like Wes's been saying, yeah, we do have. I know we're both looking at Winfei's screen right now. She is still playing, and we are gonna. It looks like we're probably gonna pause, just to make sure that we get everything going. So sit
yep.
tight, yeah. But in the meantime, I will say, since we do have a little bit of time, there is a $25 donation from Miria that's been kind of sitting and looking at me. So I want to give some shout outs to Miria. And that the comment simply reads, let me see, this is a complicated comment. Make sure I got it right. Meow. So, meow. Thank you for that fantastic $25 donation. I am totally fine with making cat noises, various Pokemon noises, um, and doing so badly. But in the meantime, yep, we are taking a quick tech break, making sure everything's all set and good to go. And give some huge shout outs and thanks to our wonderful tech team behind the stage. They are doing everything they can to make sure we are putting on a relatively smooth sailing show for all y'all. But I just want to mention that $25 donation did in fact go towards the gear and item shuffle for Chrono Trigger Jets of Time. And again, we are very much running out of time, as in, well, Chrono Trigger Jets of Time is the very next run. And one Free Fits who's going to be running that, they're going to want to get some good old randomizing of the gear and the items within Chrono Trigger. So we don't have that much time. While we're getting things set up, again, exclamation point donate in chat. And if you want to see some additional randomization, make sure you're putting your donation towards a specific incentive. If there are multiple incentives that you want to donate towards, that's cool. You can pick and choose whatever you want and put however much of your donation towards various incentives. In addition to the gear and the items, we have again randomizing the tech damage that you can see in Jets of Time. And the big one that I'm looking at in the distance is watching the opera scene from Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide. Again, not as much time as you think there is. We do have a little bit of urgency to get those donations in and seeing that awesome content and randomization. So again, exclamation point donate. Make sure you are putting all of those towards the donations of your choice. And as a quick reminder, those charitable donations are going towards NAMI, which is the National Alliance on Mental Illness. And in case you didn't know, you can also put exclamation point NAMI in chat, NAMI, to find out some more info. But just as a heads up, the National Alliance on Mental Illness, aka NAMI, is the nation's largest grassroots mental health organization dedicated to building better lives for the millions of Americans affected by mental illness. What started as a small group of families gathered around a kitchen table in 1979 has actually blossomed into the nation's leading voice on mental health. Today, NAMI is an alliance of more than 600 local affiliates. Hey, friends. Guess what? I have my voice back. Hello. Also, I, I see a snake pog. Like, oh no, put the voice back away. But yeah, big shout outs again to tech, getting things everything all sorted up. Wow. Listen, this is what happens when I have a day off from work. I lose the ability to form sentences. It is what it is. It's fine. Anyway, thank you. Thank you for the welcome back from the land of the unmute. But I still have to tell you about the end of Nami blurb. We were learning, and I am here to educate. So, as I was saying, where was I? Chat. Was that? Oh, I was at the 600. Got it. All right. So today, NAMI is an alliance of more than 600 local affiliates and 49 state organizations who work in your community, yes, your community, to raise awareness and provide support and education that was not previously available to those in need. NAMI is legitimately a fantastic cause that if you want to find out more, definitely put in exclamation point NAMI, that's NAMI, in chat to find out more. I have to look at something right quick. I have noticed in the interim, a couple things have happened that is really cool. And I'm going to hold off on saying one of these things until we get our wonderful runners and commentator back in here, because again, I see all. Not really, but I like saying that. So we're going to get everybody back in here. We're going to get everything all started back up again. And I am going to not kindness bully, but kindness bully our wonderful commentators. So when they come back in and I say the next donation, chat, I want y'all to pop off. So, but that's all I'm going to say. But when I do the donation, pop off, show some love. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Get your emotes ready, get your GGs and your hearts and everything ready. Hopefully they're not listening to the stream. So we can plot together, friends. All right. I have friends back in here. It's not just me talking into a void.
We're so back.
Speaking of being back, I noticed something because I pay attention once in a while. And before we get started, because everything's fine, this is totally rehearsed, I happened to notice a $50 donation from a certain weef.
I think it's we Fiebster.
Weefy Epster,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, I've probably never heard of them. They're probably cool though. But yeah, $50 from our wonderful commentator Wef Jebster with the comment, "Everything is fine," with a smiley face. And what makes everything even more fine is that $50 donation went towards gear and item shuffling for Chrono Trigger Jets of Time, which means we are going to see some gear and items shuffled for that run. Thank you for your fantastic charitable donations, everybody. And chat, give some love. But it looks like I've been yelled at to do something. I enjoy getting yelled at to do something. What? Okay. So, all right. You know, I love getting random surprises and everything because one of the things I just happened to notice is Leftmost Cat has donated $500 with the donation comment reading. Maintaining mental health and addressing mental illness are critical to our well-being, both personally and as a society, but sorely in need of greater visibility and investment. What better excuse to contribute to that than seeing one of my favorite games run by two fantastic runners? Leftmost Cat, thank you so much. You are so kind and so generous, and I agree, Timespinner is an amazing, amazing game. And we have some amazing runners and commentators that are running this for you. So I think with that, just amazingness and the fact that we are now $65 away from $2,000, which holy heck and fluff, I'm going to pass this on to our Timespinner crew. So y'all can go have some fun and do some more glitch required randomizing race. So take it away.
Where I know Left personally. Left is an absolute darling. Much appreciated, Left. Thank you for that. All right. And okay, we should be back, and it looks like Winfei has a nice message for our donations.
Aww.
The password screen. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and give us a countdown for us to restart our race here. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. All right, so where we were, Waffle Soup had ventured to the past, and Winfei was heading into the right side of the present, climbing up Varndegrass Tower, getting absolutely bullied by this cat on a Roomba. This is yet another wonderful thing that you find in enemy rando. Just sometimes traversal is a little bit more difficult because the enemy that is there is not supposed to be there. But plenty of items over here in this tower. We're probably going to see one of the more exciting glitches here soon, which is the elevator glitch on the right side of this tower. So I will call that out once that happens. Meanwhile, Waffle Soup, we have a lot of divergence here. Waffle Soup is going through the past, heading to the right into the castle area, where there is also a ton of items. So our runner's really kind of dry on any sort of progression, and we're getting our first hint here. The Timespinner wheel is in sealed caves, which our runners technically have access to, but it is a very late game area. One of the last areas in the game, actually, if you're going for true ending. So not great to see that. Timespinner wheel, for people who are not initiated with Timespinner, is the the title of the game is Timespinner. So obviously the Timespinner wheel is a pretty important item. It allows them to stop time, which, especially on random enemies, is going to allow them to traverse things while keeping out of danger. And the great irony here is that Timespinner wheel would have helped go through sealed caves much easier, but since it is in sealed caves, it is a bit harder for our runners to find. But since we are on Archipelago, that hint system that Archipelago provides is going to be pretty good for our runners both to figure out, where their go mode is, what they need to do to progress. As it stands right here, really nothing in the tower. So it probably going to, Winfei is going back to the library. I don't know what she didn't get yet. Meanwhile, Waffle Soup, I think that's our first Hellgazer. That is the laser spider that you saw. I think that was our first Hellgazer that we saw. Those are pretty tricky sometimes. That laser they shoot down, you cannot deboost through it. It is pretty much just a wall. And we haven't found a real good way to clip through it or anything yet. So as it stands, we might as well just treat that as a wall that damages you. But I think, if we're going to find a way to clip through that wall, one of these two runners is going to do it. All right, so go ahead.
Oh no, you finish your thought first.
Sure. So Winfei, heading further to the right, there's a couple items that she's going to be able to get here, and then also a teleport, which will allow her to warp right there instead of having to walk if she ends up in go mode. So, hey, we finally have another spell. It is the Colossal Blade. Oh, they did pick up the Aura Serpent earlier too. I missed that. Colossal Blade is exactly what it says on the tin. It's a big sword. So we'll see if that is good as a room clearer for later.
And I just want to give a quick update with those super charitable donations. Some updates on bid wars and incentives. As an FYI, the opera scene we're going to be watching, so thank you for that. Again, the the gear and the item shuffling, we're going to be getting that. The randomizing the strength of the tech damage, we're going to be getting that. So y'all are good there. But wait, there's more. Not like Billy Mays style, but you get what I'm saying. Anywho, we've got an auto status ailment donation incentive open now for Final Fantasy 6 Worlds Collide, which for the total goal of $100, if we meet that, our runners for Worlds Collide, all 4 of them will be seeing red, as they'll be dealing with berserked party members in each fight. If you ever had to deal with a berserk party member, it gets chaotic. So that's always fun to put in there. Also, the save kill Sid option, we are starting to choose violence, and I love it because right now, kill Sid is in the lead. It has taken over from save Sid. So make sure if you want to see our wonderful Sid live to see another day or not, and just go up to the farm upstate, exclamation point donate, and put your donation towards those specific goals or incentives.
Thank you for that. We have a huge update here on the Timespinner side. We have 2 huge updates on the Timespinner side all of a sudden. Waffle Soup finding that water mask is going to allow her to swim, which is pretty useful. And then on the Winfei's side, she is going backwards through the Maw Caves and finds the Teleria attachment, which is the fast movement. It's the dash. And with that succubus hairpin also allows for a lot of really elegant, sweet movement that we're going to see a lot of. And that is really, really large for Winfei to find. You can probably see how much faster just everything is going for her once she picked that up.
Is that the only movement grade or upgrade? Because yeah, you're not kidding. There is a big difference now between the two.
There is one more. It's the Celestial Sash, which is like an up dash. It's an infinite upwards jump.
Oh wow.
And that has in the past proved to be kind of an equalizer with a Teleria attachment. But Waffle's gonna want to find that real soon. And look at that. That's a Timespinner Gear 3 in Maw Caves as well. Winfei finding that. And it looks like Maw Caves is pretty money right now. That is a required gear, so the Timespinner is to be a little obvious, an important item in this game, and there are 3 gears, a spindle, and a wheel. The spindle and the 3 gears don't really do anything inherently. The wheel is what lets you stop time. And so they're going to need 3 gears, a spindle, and the wheel in order to actually beat the game and get the true ending.
Now, is the true ending the only one that's kind of the actual end go mode for runners, or are there other endings that also qualify?
So in the randomizer, usually there is a flag that allows you to do what we're calling dad %, where the ending is you have to kill your dad.
Ah.
Yeah, but this is a true ending run. So the dad % is typically a little bit faster, but because of the way the randomizer places items, it's not always the case. But Winfei found some really good items there. Does not have the water mask, so cannot leave. Is going to have to go find that water mask.
Oh.
That is actually really funny. But unfortunately, it looks like Waffle is taking the long way into the Maw Caves using that water mask. She's going to be able to swim down into the Maw Caves, and we'll probably be getting a whole bunch of items on the way. Winfei is going to backtrack here and get all of the stuff that she had to abandon because she almost died a couple of times. But that's okay. That Teleria attachment is a massive advantage for Winfei. We also saw a Star of Lachiam on Winfei's side, which allows her to have functionally 3 orbs. It allows you to use that first orb a second time without having to wait for its cooldown. And with a slow orb like Radiant Orb being her main source of damage, that's actually really, really, really good. And if Well, it does not look like Winfei is going to find that water mask, so this is going to be a very interesting race.
Oh,
Oh my goodness. Oh, and I must have missed that mysterious warp beacon actually grants our runners access to the end game area. That's using a flag called Enter Sandman, which takes it allows you to use a mysterious warp beacon to make yourself make you able to go to the ancient pyramid where the final boss is. Now they're not going to be able to go into the final boss door until they have all of the pieces of the time spinner. But that is an option for them to go and maybe pick up a couple of items if they are so daring.
not gonna lie, I love the names of the various like flags and endings in Timespinner. Enter Sandman, Dad percent. Like,
Yeah,
I'm on
there's
board for this.
Prism Break, which
Oh,
is a different flag. We have a lot of we try and come up with clever names for flags. I'm one of the developers on the randomizer. I didn't mention that, but we try to come up with fun names for the flags.
I love this.
All right, so we have both our runners in the past right now because there's really not much for them to do in the present. You see those vines Waffle Soup just walked past. Those are the vines that are in the present that she had jumped over earlier. I think Winfei had also done that. Usually you have to burn those vines, but because this is glitches required, all fire items are in the unattainable parts of the seed that will not be played. And you'll also see Waffle Soup just picked up Plasma Geyser. Plasma Geyser is what's called a pink item. It's called that because it's pink, and it's required to get through one specific door. Waffle Soup has already jump glitched through that door, so but that is another thing where there will be no pink items in our runners' games. It's always going to be in the other part of the Archipelago multi-world. All right, so Winfei did end up going to the right. Probably the right choice. It's going to be a bit until that water mask shows up, but the water mask will show up. And basically, our runner's discovery is going to be about the same, except obviously Winfei has done the entirety of Maw Caves. And yeah, I'm gonna try and keep up with this, but now that Winfei has Teleria attachment, things are gonna be moving really, really fast. Right now, she's doing stuff that Waffle's already done, so I can kind of leave that off. But very soon, there's going to be maybe a bit of chaos as both of our runners are going to have the dash and going to be doing separate things, kind of backtracking over each other's steps. Right now, Waffle opting not to go into the Maw Caves is gonna go ahead and backtrack up here, do a little horseshoe maneuver around Lake Surrey, pick up some of these items on the left side.
Well, I can cut in with a quick donation before the chaos completely ensues, if you'd like.
Sure.
All right. We have $50 from Physics Shebang, who says, I was supposed to be running with my boys on the Worlds Collide run, but circumstances mean I just have to troll them with auto status instead. Thank you, Randomania, for running this marathon and for the amazing support for Nami. Thanks as well to all of the volunteers, hosts, and all of the amazing runners donating their time for an amazing cause. Keep going fast, and though I'm not putting this toward Kill or Save Sid, make that traitor die. I love that.
Auto Berserk is something else.
Wild. It is.
Just what if everyone was a Sasquatch? All right, we have a boss fight over here at the Azure Queen spot. It is the Maw. Waffle Soup, even without the wheel, gets the cheese spot. The Maw can't hit you if you're. Oh wait, she didn't get the cheese spot. Never mind. If you get up close enough, the Maw just can't hit you until it does its desperation attack. And there's that water mask for Winfei. So with Teleria attachment and water mask, she's got a ton of movement. Ooh, and there's a Gear 1 behind the Azure Queen spot. So that is a hard required item. This has already been a very interesting race. A lot of divergence. I think that Teleria attachment that Waffle's going to be finding down here in these maw caves is towards like the middle of the caves themselves. So once Waffle finds that, it's going to be very fast movement all the way through the rest of this seed. It's going to be real fun to watch. The last remaining thing that we're really looking for is Light Wall. Now, Light Wall is a spell that creates a light wall, and you can use it to clip things because it is a solid surface, and there are slopes in this game, and as we all know, slopes are meant to be broken.
And actually, donation totals were meant to be broken because I looks like we just broke the $2,000 mark with an $18 donation from Mark Magus, who says, "Hang in there, Linnaeus and Waffle and Winfei." So thank you so much, and congrats on GG's for $2,000.
2Gs?
Let's get some hype in chat for that.
So we are seeing a lot of hinting over on Waffle's side. We have a military fortress Timespinner Gear 2, and then that Gear 3, which we already know, is in the Caves of Banishment, which is the Maw Caves. So the fact that it's in military fortress means that the 3 lasers that are unlocked by defeating all of the past bosses are going to be required. Because of that Prism Break and Enter Sandman combination, that was not necessarily always going to be the case. Not all of the bosses may have been required, but because we need to break those lasers, unless one of these runners became as skilled as a TAS bot, then they are going to have to kill all 3 of those bosses. All right, we're gonna see what path Winfei takes through the past. I know Waffle hinted for the spindle, and Winfei has acquired the spindle. Waffle already knowing she's going to have to backtrack to get that spindle, but at least knows where it is. I'm actually curious if Winfei is going to use that hint system. I don't know for what, really. She's not exactly out of things to do. Right. Yeah, so it looks like Winfei will be going at least topside temporarily. One of the sort of meta decisions that has come across when you have something like the Teleria attachment that lets you dash is this horseshoe approach, where you kind of do this thing and then you circle around and you swim around the bottom, and then you go back up top when you're on the left side, like we saw Waffle do. And I think Waffle might be okay. I was gonna say Waffle is not in go mode or no mode right now. I saw that she had skipped something, but I think she just really, really wanted to that save point and to heal. These bees are very annoying and are doing a lot of damage because they are in sort of a later game area. This is the sealed caves. I just realized this is not the Maw caves. So this is somewhere that Waffle is going because she knows the wheel is here. Yeah, clipping right into the wall, right behind this wall down here. I don't remember where in sealed caves the wheel was, but we do know the wheel is here, and I guess Winfei also knows the wheel is here. But Winfei, going back to the right, yep, here's that horseshoe maneuver that I was talking about. Gonna hop down here, grab this chest, get neurotoxin for her trouble. Neurotoxin's a status effect that forces your aura, which is like your MP that you use to cast spells, to completely drain to 0. Not very fun.
Does the neurotoxin go away as soon as it hits 0, or does it just stay there until you heal it?
It's there long enough to make sure that it hits 0 regardless of what your current max aura is. But yeah, it is overtime technically, but it makes sure you go to 0.
Gotcha.
All right, Winfei's fighting them all here, so she's going to be getting the Gear 1 in a second, which will be the Spindle, the Gear 1, and Gear 3. You can kind of see where the Teleria attachment advantage is. One of the things that you can do with this archipelago system is you can hint for the Teleria attachment, which isn't hard required, so it's a risk if you do it, but obviously it gives you a huge advantage. Oh, and Waffle's just cruising right along and is going to be fighting the boss of the sealed caves, which is a choice. And as you can see how much damage she is taking, I think she's changing her mind. Yep.
It's like, in theory, this makes sense. In actuality,
That's
Oop.
actually a good point. I forgot about this. Part of the way that they set up this run is that if they beat Zarian, there is guaranteed to be a light wall there. I had forgotten that. Thank you, Miss Input. So that is something that you want to do to make sure you get that light wall.
Oh.
And I think, where the wheel is now. It's in the place. Ooh, getting dropped out of nowhere by a engineer falling from the sky. This is enemy rando. That is supposed to be a moth that gently floats down from the ceiling to try and kill you. Instead, that was an engineer that fell from the ceiling at gravity's pace to try and kill. Oh.
It's like, well, when suddenly that was rude.
Ooh. And then Winfei takes a death fighting the Golden Idol on a bit of a hitbox situation. Yeah, definitely going to revisit that. I think Winfei realized that she's going to have to kill that boss and was trying to do what we were calling a gas run, I guess, to basically be completely out of air because you don't have the gas mask. But you can fight that boss anyway. It's a bit of a risk, as you just saw. Was not able to finish the job in time, so going to go and do some other stuff in the past that she has access to. Meanwhile, we have Waffle fighting Varney. We like to call this delicious eye beast to try and get that free light wall. That could be a huge difference maker in this. Right now, Winfei doesn't really have the ability to full clear this area of the game. It can almost full clear this area of the game, but can't quite do it. There's going to be a couple of checks that are abandoned, and most of the time you're going to think that there's no way they're required. And that's what the hint system's really for. You kind of know where all of your go mode items are, so you know what you can abandon and can't abandon. And they do, like I said, they do know that they have to kill these 3 bosses in the past. And going up in this tower is required. And this boss that Winfei is currently fighting, the Azure Queen, at the Golden Idol spot, is going to be required, even if it doesn't give an item specifically. Waffle still working on this boss here. It is a late-ish game boss, and there it is. Not a fun boss to find. It is a late game area, and that boss hits really hard. How the stat scaling is based is there is a multiplier for each enemy on. They have a touch damage, and then every attack that an enemy does is a multiplier on that touch damage. So obviously, if you're scaling things and you're already multiplying things once, if you multiply them again, that just makes them hit even harder. So it is something that the runners have to watch out for when they're fighting these bosses that aren't typically there, because the design of the game isn't really there either. And you know what? All of this divergence and our runners are in the same place.
Ow.
Well, there's a princess dress that is really good to find. That's the first decent armor our runners have found all game, and Winfei's about to snag this as well. All right, so they're going to be climbing the tower. Waffle's going to have this light wall to jump around on, so is going to be able to take a kind of a more preferred route, whereas Winfei, you see, going over here and kind of taking the long way around the tower, climbing this tower that doesn't really have any items in it, whereas Waffle's going to be able to warp shard her way out of this place. But we'll see what comes up here. Again, because the light wall's not there for Winfei, there is a check up here at the very, very top of this tower that she is going to have to abandon. Again, kind of know that it's not super required because of all of the hints that have happened. Oh, we have Cantor in here at Ilana, a very similar boss. This is kind of like a color swap that kind of got out of control. But the good news is we do have a weakness in that Aura Serpent. Oh, getting bullied a little here by the light walls. As Winfei, again, look at the advantage the Teleria attachment does. Already catching up on the left side of this tower with Waffle Soup. Very smart use of the Aura Serpent here, though. It does freeze you in the air and keeps you above those dangerous light walls. Winfei actually using Crimson Vortex, which Cantorin is also weak to, but obviously doesn't have that movement advantage of keeping you hovered above those light walls, which are very dangerous. We see Winfei using Blue Orb while Waffle Soup is using Shattered Orb. Shattered Orb is the same damage type as the Blue Orb in that it is blunt damage or bashing damage. Really kind of a matter of preference here. The speed run uses a lot of Blue Orb as Waffle Soup gets that boss out of the way. Does not opt to do the attic because knows that it isn't hard required. Knows where all of the go mode items are. The rest of these items, I believe, can be acquired through glitches, especially with the possession of that light wall. The Gilded Egg that they picked up there can be sold for a lot of money. They're probably not going to need it so much right now. And it looks like Waffle Soup is going to be doing this other required boss. So that will be 2 bosses for Waffle Soup, and it'll be 2 bosses for Winfei as well. Winfei is already taking care of this boss. Tried the oxygen run on the Golden Idol at Maw. Didn't really work out. Gas Mask is a very important find here. Golden Idol, the problem with trying to do a gas run of Golden Idol is there are long stretches where Golden Idol cannot take damage, completely immune to damage. So you're suffocating, and Golden Idol is in the background laughing.
Jeez.
Yeah, so building up healing items is going to be important, and failing that, it's just going to be important to get a lot of damage per second, and that's going to be tough to do when you're stuck at level 10. All right, Waffle Soup's going to check out this Forbidden Tome. It's a bit of sharp damage, long range that now both of our runners have. It's an option. I'd be sorry. Every time something falls from the ceiling and knocks a runner down to the next screen, it's funny literally every time.
It just looks fantastic.
It's great. It's like a Kaizo. It's like a Mario Kaizo hack. All right, so Waffle doesn't know that the Golden Idol is here, and she's going to be giving this a run. It's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough. The Shattered Orb is good, and the Radiant Orb is also good here. We're going to see if Waffle's able to crank the dam, so to speak, in order to get this boss defeated. Yeah, like you have a 2-phase boss. it's your oxygen is running out here, and as soon as your oxygen runs out, you start taking percentage damage to your health. It is 10% for every second, so you have basically 10 seconds to finish the job. And yeah, you're gonna need to heal. We have one berry pick me up plus, which is very, very helpful. But again, there you go. This is the phase that you can't hit the golden idol, but that is good news because that means the golden idol is halfway. And again, yeah, no, Waffle has to bail. I was thinking the Lakiyami Sun that Winfei had to use early is a functionally full heal for our runners. And so it would have been interesting to see, because Winfei used it earlier, if that Lakiyami Sun was good enough, then that may have been huge. But right now, Winfei is giving another shot. Has a lot of 15s happening on the screen right now. This is a lot of damage for a spot that doesn't have a ton of damage. But again, here she is. She bought all those plump maggots from the merchant crow in the tower. Looks like Waffle's selling the gilded egg to buy jerky. Just gonna have to breathe jerky for a little bit here. We're gonna see if Winfei has the juice, and Winfei does have the juice. You have to remember, you have to live through this death animation. It's very important. Runners have died because they said, "I got it," and then they died during the cutscene. So very savvy moment from Winfei to heal before the cutscene started. That was very good. So now Winfei has all three of those laser gates busted open, is going to go find that gear 2 in the hangar, and then is going to need to find some sort of vertical movement, is hinting for light wall. Finding, oh my goodness. So the one that is forced there at that Zarian fight, and then also one in the end game area in the place called Regret Chest. It's called Regret Chest because you don't want to go there. It's super out of the way, difficult to get to, especially with enemy rando. Also, Waffle Soup showing the versatility of light wall there. I was surprised that she didn't do it first. Must have just occurred to her. Stacking those light walls on top of Golden Idol, just doing damage over time while you're just sitting there watching Golden Idol die. That was a very good move. Getting that boss to die. And then also, you can usually only get 3 of those light walls on screen at the time. But if you swap your loadout in the jewelry box, it resets that counter. And so you can get more. You can get 3 more every time you swap your loadout. So that's a fun little fact that the literal dev of the vanilla game dropped on us in the middle of a tournament once. So that was fun. So yeah, it looks like Winfei is in the Ancient Pyramid. I don't know. I mean, she can get to Regret Chest. Oh, wait. Oh, this is going to be very interesting.
Oh.
This is not usually underwater. This is a function of the randomizer. On Winfei's side, she is swimming slowly down this pit. This is not usually underwater. This is a flag called Rising Tides, which, because this is underwater, you can't glitch through this wall. Unless you want to prove me wrong. I mean, she's better at it than I am, but I don't think she can do this.
So what would you have to do instead?
So in vanilla, you would be able to just break that wall. But they have I Spy on, and they never can get that Oculus ring. So they'll never be able to break that wall. So the only available light wall is by beating the boss spot that Waffle did earlier. That is an incredible amount of luck for Waffle Soup. A really incredible amount of luck for Waffle Soup. Meanwhile, it looks like Winfei is at least going to finish the pyramid and get the warp at the end of it. So she will at least have that warp. And yep, Winfei deciding, I tried, but it looks like we're going to have to do sealed caves after all. Again, this is a very lucky turn of events for Waffle. She's about to get that Teleria attachment, which will allow the dash, and has all the knowledge of where everything is. There's that Gear 3, and then dipping out before getting Teleria. That's unfortunate. I think Waffle's just in beat the game mode right now. Which is smart, but at the same time, oh.
It's just knowing you're like, you're so close.
You're so close to the movement. All right. Winfei going through Zarian Caves. Again, this is very that fly might one-shot her right now, 69 HP. If she gets hit, she might just die. So she has to be very careful on her way to this save point. Heaving a deep sigh of relief. Oh yeah. We are informing Waffle where Teleria is. Of course, if she ends up winning this, it's not going to matter. Again, she does know where everything is, so it's basically a race to get the stuff, and having to go all the way through Zarian Caves and having to beat that pretty difficult boss to get that light wall is going to be tough. We'll see how this plays out. Again, you just have to look at how fast Winfei is going versus how slow Waffle Soup is.
That's got to be absolutely torturous not having that movement tech. It's like, where is this? Oh my gosh.
Light wall is required because they have to climb. They have to use light wall to get to the top right of Zarian Caves to get the Timespinner wheel. So otherwise it wouldn't be required, because that area that's flooded, that's typically where they would need... Oh, wait, it's down here. This is why light wall is required, because you have to clip through that elevator door.
Oh.
I knew it was in sealed caves, but I didn't know what part of sealed caves it is. So I'm glad we have to see that glitch, that elevator glitch. I thought it was just in the upper part, the jackpot room that we like to call it, that in the Maw Cave it has 4 chests in it, so it's really good. In the sealed caves it only has 1, so I've been calling it the Jack Squat room. But that elevator clip, very, very tricky, and Waffle just nailed it first try, which is very impressive. I know both of these runners have been practicing this stuff, so they've been getting really, really good at it. They really like this friendly competition they have going on with these glitches required races. This is not the first time they've done this. Winfei might need to chug a potion real quick here. I think one of these missiles might just kill.
I just love the concept of having a race that requires glitches. It's like sometimes, oh, you could use them. You don't have to. This one, no. You need them. I love that.
Yeah, and I forgot that Winfei does have Teleria attachment, so she would be able to get to that upper room without light wall. So literally, she just knows that light wall is required for the elevator glitch. And Winfei deals with Varney at Zarian, so now she has that light wall, and there's the Timespinner wheel. It is literally just a race to get the missing pieces of the Timespinner, and whew, it's close. Winfei's got that speed advantage. Waffle Soup's got the 1 wheel advantage. This is going to be very, very, very close. Also, Winfei already has the end of the pyramid unlocked, so will not have to go through the pyramid, whereas Waffle Soup still has to do the entire ancient pyramid. So this is going to be really, really close. It might come down to boss fights. So yeah, there's your go mode. And Waffle will be heading into the ancient pyramid. There's Winfei's with elevator glitch. Very well done.
Oh, nice. So like with Waffle and go mode and not having the speed boost, at this point, would you go, is it worth it to get the speed or just go finish the game? Like, in your opinion?
I would say, if she has hint points available, I would just spend the time hinting for it. And if it's right
Mhm.
there and I can get it in like a quick check, I would do it. Um, but also, when you're in go mode and you're in a race, you kind of get focused on beating the game, you know? So I
Mood.
don't I would honestly be in the same shoes. I would probably say, you know what? Maybe Talaria's just buried and we're never gonna find it.
Gotcha.
And Waffle's going to also find out that this area is flooded and will probably have a light chuckle about it. One of the skips that is required in these kinds of runs is the light wall skip, which you see that big pit that's filled with water that we're going to see on Waffle Soup's side in a second. By the way, this is still a very, very close race. This terrible hellgazer on the staircase might actually be the difference in time. But you're gonna see this big pit. Usually, you have to use light wall to jump over the pit and make platforms for yourself so you don't fall all the way down it. But since it's filled with water, then it doesn't matter. You can just swim across. Anyway, Winfei is heading to the final bosses here, so we are going to see who we have at the final boss.
Oh, so even the
And
final boss is randomized?
yeah, the two
Ah!
final bosses even.
Oh, I
All
love
right.
that.
So we have Ilana at the Sandman spot. So this is a kind of a mid-game boss. Has pretty predictable patterns. Does a lot of pausing, so it's not that big of a deal. But has this one weird lightning attack that is always terrible. If you have judicious use of time stop, you can pretty much dodge it. But sometimes the lightning shaped weird and hits you anyway. Taking some. Oh, Winfei doesn't have any healing.
Oh no.
So you're gonna see Ilana's gonna charge up and like do a Hadouken, and that's gonna tell you that she is at the half point of her HP, and that's what Winfei's looking for. This she has to be very careful. Like this is now a one-hit run. One hit, and Winfei is going to have to take a death here, as Waffle Soup has entered the final boss area right on her heels. This is incredible.
Oh my god.
Like both of our runners have to be very careful. They're stuck at level 10. They don't have amazing gear. Waffle, a little bit of a risk here with that Aura Serpent. The Aura Serpent does keep you perfectly still, and those lightning bolts can take a very awkward arc through the air. But it worked out. Okay, so here's the Hadouken. So Winfei's halfway through the Ilana fight. We are going to see how this plays out. This is very, very exciting. And we don't even know who the final boss is. This is just the second to last boss. You have two bosses back to back here.
Oh, so you can't even save between the two? You just have to go?
Nope, it's a gauntlet.
Oh, wow.
You know what? Waffle did find an economizer ring earlier that I'm not sure Winfei ever did. The economizer ring does, if you're familiar with Final Fantasy, it reduces the amount of aura that it takes to cast spells pretty significantly. And that Aura Serpent usually costs a lot of aura, but because of that economizer ring, she can cast a lot. Oh, no! No! That is not... That's not great. That is really not great. Waffle's going to need to take a death here for Winfei to have a chance because I believe Waffle is in desperation mode on Ilana too. Oh. Oof. Maybe thought that Ilana was going up to the top and didn't. Oh, that is
So
rough.
It looked like that attack just like clipped her.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, it's really tough when you are stuck at level 10 in your endgame area, and a lot of the gear that you would have picked up, that you would have been able to wear, is over in the other seed, that you're never gonna see. That it's just really tough. All right, there's boss one down on Waffle Soup side. Who do we